We're hot. 394 coming at you. Yet again. Okay. Got you up on my phone here. Got a little bit of cleanup to do. But as you can see, we've got a 394. I've got the video, or some video, of me actually machining this for Jim. So, Jim, that video I will upload later. Hey, Larry, Craig, James, good. So we got everybody, good. William Prophet's here, great. So I did a little bit of stuff here today. I worked this morning. And yeah. Get rid of that. I got cleanup to do. Worked this morning, then went to the folks, and I actually MIG welded the 288 with the duals, and just one little spot you can see a little bit of light through it, so I have to go back and do that again. It's really silly because I really should just like grind it back down and then fill in again, but we had a huge thunderstorm coming in right the very second that we were finishing that up, so I would have gotten it right, but oh well, doesn't matter. The humidity was disgusting today, Craig. Hey, Ken. Yeah, the humidity basically seemed nearly tropical. It was kind of crazy. You know what? Let's get out this. Get out the shop vac here. Plug her on in. And get a little bit of the dust off of here. Better. Just so clogged right now. Started 370 for the first time, had an issue, and throttle up was fine. It came back to idle, didn't want to stay running. Just gonna clean up here a little bit while you guys chat. I'll show you. While cleaning up. So I had a little bit of an adventure today. I was fiddling around with threaded rod, making some M5 inserts, and so 5/16 threaded rod works pretty good if I'm making inserts. But it's a little bit big. You know, you're drilling away quite a bit of magnesium. So I tried quarter 20. And as it turns out, quarter 20, let's see if I can show you, is just a little bit too thin for M5. Worked itself out, works good. You're good, Larry. It's gonna run fine. So I need to find threaded rod that's just a little bigger than quarter 20, a little smaller than 5/16. And I think the AM5 I can do an insert with something like that, and I'll be taking less away from the magnesium. It'll be stronger. Two stroke. M7 rod, maybe, yeah. Or I was thinking 5/16 is also 10/32, so I need 9/32. 8/32 would be quarter inch, right? So I need 9/32. So if I can pick up 9/32 rod, I'll do it. So just something else to think about. Okay, so what I want to do is clean this up and effectively check the squish. I didn't get quite as much done at my folks as I had hoped. I was hoping to get the 262 done, but the stuff from HL Supply didn't show up. It's coming Monday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the shop vac while I peel this out here. Hey, Arbor. Okay, sorry. So I like to run that just so any pieces that might be there just tend to go into. Well, you know. Anyway, so yeah, HL Supply didn't come to 262. We'll try to get a squish maybe Monday night when the stuff comes. Hey Jesse, welcome. Hey Wolf, what's going on? 14 people here. Yeah, the ultrasonic cleaner definitely helps. It's not a cure-all, but it does help. So, one interesting issue we ran into a couple times ago was after you mill this, and you can see how shiny that is. Let's see if you guys can see. Here, let's. That shines. So, that's milled flat with a carbide. But what happens is this edge all the way around is a little bit too sharp for the cylinder head. That's one issue that we run into. The second one is that the skirt on the cylinder head tends to bind here and here. Now, this sharp edge is basically cured with the gasket. So the gasket cures that problem. We don't need to worry about that. But because you drop the cylinder head, it can bind here, essentially here and here. So you do need to adjust the cylinder head to account for that. Okay, so let's do that right now. Get the head. The Stony. There's the head. Wrist pin bearing. Piston. Okay, so now we're just doing a bunch of trial fit stuff. Need to find that gasket. Right here. So basically on the edges, right here and here is where it typically binds. And you know what? I'm just going to grind on that right off the bat because whoop, right, I'm going to grind on that right off the bat just because I want to drop stuff, obviously. So when you're doing these modified saws, there's so many little things you got to look out for. Because as soon as you change one little thing, okay. Craig Stark, question about a 2166 X-Torque parts repair star. Started right up. Bottom end is a knocking noise. Most likely to be, I don't know. The bottom end is a knocking noise. If you pull the plug out and you go to start it, is there, or you go to turn it over, is there a noise? you know, it could be something in the clutch. You pull the clutch off to rule that out. Could be something in the starter. You know, something knocking around. Could be the ignition coil could be loose and hitting the flywheel. It could be a rod that's messing you up. It could be the tip of the spark plug hitting because the piston's hitting. All kinds of different stuff. The oiler could have come loose. All kinds of things like that. So start taking it apart and ruling things out. You know, but pull the plug first so that there's no compression, and pull it over and see if it's smooth. Please move the jug of zip ties. James, you're going to lose. At higher speed pull. Um, Again, you have to start taking components off and start ruling things out. Yeah, we've got some serious storms around here too, William. Plug, cylinder, pistons clean. I've seen some pretty clean pistons with all kinds of bottom end trouble. Yep, rod, wrist pin bearing, broken clutch. Again, it could be the ignition coil hitting the flywheel, rubbing on the flywheel. Two stroke, take care. Be safe, buddy. Piston skirt hitting something. Probably not binding, but start taking it apart, start ruling stuff out. Simple, you know? Yeah, I suppose the easiest thing to take apart is the clutch. Take the whole clutch assembly off. Pretty easy to do. And then you still have the starter so you can pull it over. I'm not intending to impact this on. That's not the idea. I want to get it reasonably tight. And then check squish. I don't see it binding anywhere. That's good. It's not sticking up, rocking, or anything like that. Yeah, check for stuff that's not bottom end first. You know, don't necessarily assume that it's something with the bearings or whatever, or with the rod. Again, you drop the head, and you can be awful darn tight. with the flywheel. Do you think there's another coffee cup next to the Kleenex? Nope. Just water. Teacup. That had solvents in it. Not coffee. So yeah, don't assume it's the bottom end necessarily. Assume it's something else interfering. Because the cranks on those are pretty darn strong. So we're at like 18, 17, 18 thousandths, which is a little tight. So I got to open it up a little bit more. Yeah, I'll open it up a bit. I have, all you got to do is I got to run the sandpaper in there a little bit more. And the compression's going to be beautiful. All right. So now let's get the degree wheel on this. Do a little bit of port work. If I can find my degree wheel, should be right here. Okay. My degree wheel is not where I left it. That's not good. Or not where I usually leave it. That's a better. My degree wheel is probably exactly where I left it. The question is, where the heck is that? You guys see it? Be right there. In my everything box. It's usually there. wouldn't have put it somewhere else, I would have done that. It's a big wheel. It's probably staring me in the face right now. That's right here on the floor. Why is it on the floor? Right now I have it set up for M8. So now I just... So this is just a really dumb piece, but it does work. It's not amazingly accurate. It's not intended to be amazingly accurate. I literally use air connectors, compressed air connections. And they work just fine. Hey, Kev. Welcome. And bye, William. We'll catch you later. Okay, so now what I do, I've showed this process before, so anybody that's seen my videos has seen this before. This is a piston stop. It is in a completely arbitrary spot, okay? Well, first what you do is get the piston visually at top dead center. And then what you do is you basically move your wheel so it more or less reflects top dead center. Now what I like to do is I like to put a couple of marks here and here. They're two visual marks to help me line this up. And you can do this, they're all visually, that way I have something to, and that way I line up top dead center. Piston is more or less at top dead center, not absolute yet. Everything lines up. Okay, so now what I do is I back it off and just go this way. It doesn't really matter. And what you do is this goes in, and then at some arbitrary point, okay, and we've got, let's call it 30, it's reading 39 roughly, and that's reading 51. So all you got to do now is move this over so it reflects 45. I think this went a little too far. And you can that's like 44. Go back over. All you're trying to do is balance it. Actually, that's pretty good right there. 43, 44, somewhere in there. 43 or 44, somewhere in there. Okay, so the wheel is balanced to both sides, and you know, you can check it at another spot. You know, just insert it further or whatever. Put a little further in. So that's, we're going to call that 63. fixed. I'm a little worried. Hang on. This whole thing wants to move. It needs to be tightened up just a little bit. Turn on the crank. Should be a much more positive stop. Okay. This is just not quite tight on the crank. So again, do it again. Get it more or less to TDC. Back it off. 48. 68. Get to 58. Should be a very positive stop. That's at 53, but whatever. So that's 64. Closer to 58. Look a little more exactly. 50. 57. Plus or minus half a degree. That's fine. Again, for what we're doing, that's fine. Okay. So now, let's set things like, okay, I can look simply and say, okay, where do I want my intake? So I'll set it at like 80 here, which is where I want it. I'll set my intake at 80, and then what I do is I'll take a razor here. Do we have a razor? I make a tiny little mark on the piston. You know, you're not trying to really scratch up the piston too much, but make a tiny little mark on the piston. And what that does is it shows me that I have to remove about 1/8 of an inch. Let's see if I can show you guys that. Are you buffering? Better? I don't know if you can see the scratch. But what it shows is I remove about 1/8 of an inch from the intake, so to get a little bit more intake. Exhaust. On the exhaust, we do it very simply. We get a ring, stick it in, and here. I'm going to move this to bottom dead center. Tell your uncle that this is not for him. I'm actually waiting for Jim C to come on. I don't know if he's going to come on or not, though. Okay. Dan! Just doing a little port work here. So the piston's at bottom dead center, more or less. I'm going to put a ring in. Media use are nice because they come with cabers. Put this back down. Screws here. Doing a little bit of port work here on a 394. Nothing too crazy, okay, Dan? We're really not trying to go crazy. Just want a little extra pop, and boy, you know, we're gonna get it. We are most definitely gonna get it out of this. Okay, so bottom dead center. Now let's say we want our exhaust at 100. All you gotta do is move it up. From bottom dead center, move it up. So 70, 80, 90, 80 is also 100. So you want to move it up to there. My little guy's screaming. Hang on a second. Okay. So let's see. So from bottom dead center, you move it on up. At 100, set it at 100. 101, 100, somewhere in there. That's good. Back it off to bottom dead center. Now we're going to pull the head off. So now what we have is a ring in there, and that ring indicates right where we want that exhaust to open. So now we take a nice good Sharpie, right on the top of the ring. And that gives us our line that we are going to cut to. And you're not necessarily going to cut all the way there, and it's not going to be completely flat, but that's where you want to go. Yeah, you can see I'm marked in there. Now we got a little like marinade for a minute. I may not touch the upper transfers hardly at all. Might not be much point. Just do the exhaust and the in. Yeah, now we got a nice line there that I can cut to. Now, speaking of lines, I'm going to eyeball the intake. I know you guys are like, what the heck? Yeah. Going to eyeball the intake. It's not that big a deal. Same idea. You put your ring in wherever you want it, and you scribe a line with your Sharpie. And if I know that I got to take off, let's say 1/8 of an inch, then it makes complete sense there, you know? You have it as a reference at least. So where I mark the line is just a bit shy of where I want it. I actually want to bring it up just a little bit more, but that's okay. Now we have a nice flat line, and we're going to grind the intake nice and flat. Let's set up the footwork here. I'll see what I can get done tonight. The kids are kind of driving us berserk, so I may duck out early, but let's see what we can get done. So I've got a straight handpiece here on my Dental Lab motor. This is a E-type motor, and it takes E-type handpieces. This is just a straight one, but they have right angle if you want to do the uppers. They don't last long though. They last maybe one upper, maybe two. And I don't take these a whole lot wider. Take them a little bit wider, but not much. You know what? I think I'm actually going to use my bigger unit here. Make it dirty birdie. What's going on, man? Lunchtime. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out at lunch. Now I end up using some grease on here. You really don't need much actually, but and that helps with the loading. Nice, crisp, flat intake. Square, flat intake. You do not need to worry about rounding this because the rings don't pass it except when it's getting installed. Square. Good. I can take it up further, but I don't... Yeah, man. What's going on? Just working on a 394 cylinder head. See, I can take that up further, but... Okay, leave it. I'll hit that with some 50 grit, and we're good. Trying to find OEM and X Torque top end. That I don't got. Sorry, man. This is, yeah, a little bit. Neither grow back. Alright, let's do the exhaust here. I widen it a little bit, but not tons. So the center needs to be down at the edge, needs to basically make the black line disappear. And then it kind of curves up to the side. Center is almost at the edge of the black line. When I bevel it, I'll give it a nice heavy bevel right there in the middle. That way you don't hook it in. Getting rid of all the carbon here. The whole thing's taped. Now I'm not going to touch the exhaust roof here. I really don't want to touch that. Danimal, there you are. Danimal, I replied. I gave you my email. I saw the message and I replied. Get rid of the ampersands and you can email me. Right there. Thing is, if you have a Husky 350, it's not worth shipping to me. The shipping back and forth is going to kill the whole deal. Where are you located? Are you in? If you're in Connecticut, it's different. But if you're not in Connecticut, shipping's gonna kill the whole thing. Yeah, I've got some X-Torque parts. You're in San Diego. Yeah, it's not going to be worth it. No way, shape, or form will that be worth it. I'd love to help. I mean, if you got a problem, I'd love to be able to help you. I just... Matt, I already said no. Maybe you missed it. No, I don't have... I don't have a top end for the X-Torque. I have some parts, but I don't have a top end. You can't have them. That's usually how I feel, Wolf. We good? We're good. Jim's here. Hey, Dave. Dave made it. Jim's here. Jim, here you go. We're having a good old time. Been camping all week. Okay. you're cleaning up the plating, I use a lot of different stuff, but I do like Scotch-Brite. You'll see I run Scotch-Brite in there. Who do we have? Did Jim make it back? Who's here? I'm sorry guys about the buffering. I don't know what happens. Did Jim make it back? Having storms. Yeah, we're having storms too. Jim, is there anything... Oh, here, hang on a second. Yeah, the Scotch-Brite. I'll show it in a bit. I'll show it. So I'm not going crazy on this, but how's that? Jim, I'm not going to go crazy on this cylinder. It's got a nice tight squish. I'm going to make sure this is like nice and clean, nice and beveled. You'll have nice pop out of this. It's not a super ultra crazy port job. I'm not even going to touch the transfers. I'm just going to leave them. It'll be fine. A little bit of a compression bump and more or less some mild port work here, and this is going to be pretty hot. So I got the Jim, you missed. I got the crankcase over here. I did the crankcase on the Bridgeport today. Yeah, I don't think I'm ever getting my hand back into here. Jim, is there anything in particular you'd like to see me do? I can't believe the... Not getting these gloves on. Or like, Jim, is there anything in particular you'd like to see on the saw? You know, this is going to have some pretty good compression, I'll say that. Really don't know what porting does. Okay. Well, this is a valve, if you think about it. The head is a valve. The motor's a valve. And if you can make the in and the out more efficient, you'll get more power. That's the long and the short of it. Yeah, you can mod the muffler, but Actually, on a 394, I'm not going to mod the muffler at all, mainly because the muffler is already pretty open. And you can open it more if you want, but the mufflers on these are already pretty open. Yeah, the muffler helps. There's really no question about it. But it's just not the same as optimizing port timing and shape and all that stuff. Bigger carburetor. Again, the carburetor is basically as big as you need for something like this on the 394s. It's really, in this case, it's really not about... Yeah, I used 50 grit and then I went up to 220 on the exhaust, and here you can see that. Let me see if I can get the flashlight over here. See, well, I take off, there's no plating in the port. So the plating is left on the cylinder wall. And actually you want to bevel it, which is really what I'm going to do now. That's kind of the next thing to do. Bevels I do with a diamond. This one happens to be a football. Yeah, you can. There are guys that go completely crazy on the thing. I don't know. I'm just not quite that picky. You could spend all day doing this. That's not this build, you know? It's just not. But you can spend all day fiddling with stuff and whatever. The smoother the better for some things, but not necessarily everything. Heat transfer, the rougher the better, I think. So I've got a football and I'm beveling. You want a little bit more bevel in the center here. Now this is all goobered up, so let me go wash it. I'll be right back. Matt, I'll show you. Yeah, I like a 32 or a 36 on the 394s. 28 is a tad short. Again, that's my own feeling, but 28 is a tad short. And I've used 42, but that's a little bit long. It'll oil it, but it's a little bit on the long side. If you want a 42, I think you go to the next step up, which is a 3120. So this is regular Scotch-Brite, the reddish maroon stuff. Charles, from New York. Okay, you getting storms out there? Why does that shine that up nice? This comes, I think you can get these at Amazon, but I don't know. They come pre-made as like a barrel looking thing. Add just a little bit more bevel there. Steel 045 Super. That is an old school saw, Jim. Can't imagine those are easy to get parts for. Fuck. That's better. Also get these Scotch-Brite balls, and then I just add a couple of pieces of Scotch-Brite to it. All right, now I got to sandpaper the squish band just a little further, give it a little bit more room. So I'm going to go wash this again to get any of that Scotch-Brite out, and then we'll sandpaper this. It's the regular Scotch-Brite, which it's basically this stuff. Coarse Scotch-Brite. No idea what the grit is. You can I'm sure you can look it up. I just don't know. We're in meeting, whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna go wash this one more time. Be right back. Okay. Running low on 50 grit. Okay. Now, this is not necessarily the ideal way to do this. I've said this a million times. But it does work. If you only need to take a couple of thousandths out of the band, sandpaper, I put Quick Steel, JB Weld, JB Quick rather, on here. And it holds the sandpaper on. And that goes in the head. Hit it. And believe me, it takes stuff off. Now, if you're looking to take off a bunch, this is probably not the way for you. if you're looking to be super accurate. This is also not the way. A way. If you're trying to take off a bunch, be super accurate about it, you need a boring bar on the lathe, and you got to be indicated. We're getting there, though. Piece is more or less worn out. Let's do the next one. Good thing I set 2 of these up. James, have a good evening, buddy. Hey, Bob. Come on in, Bob. The water's fine. I'm just working on the squish band here on a 394. Just need to remove a few thousandths and we'll be good. We're definitely removing something. I'm going to go a few more times here until this sandpaper is done. I think we're going to have it. Out milling cedar, great. Horsepower? I don't know. If I see any increase over stock, I'm happy. But then again, see, Jim, the thing, like, I don't typically run stock saws, and there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of pro porters out there that they'll run it, they'll port it, they'll test it, they'll go back in and fiddle with it, and back and forth, back and forth. It's just not me. I take a trash saw, make it as good as I can, and usually try to call it a day. That's my main thing. So if I get a little bit of bump in this, then we're good, you know? It's a lot of work. Usually some stuff comes out pretty good. But I don't have a dyno to test, you know. I don't have the empirical data, you know, saying what I got. I think this is going to be the last. Last go for this sandpaper. Yeah, you know, you can, the videos come out okay. I don't do a lot of cutting videos. There are a lot of guys that do, so why do I need to, you know? Very few guys do what I do. And Charles, yeah, you're right. You know, I feel good about doing what I do here, so, you know. I'm going to go degrease this. We'll try it in. Yep, no kidding. I'm having a good time. You know, let's think. Yeah, it's smooth. That's very smooth. All right, that's fine. Leave it. What a mess. Hang on, I got a mess. I didn't end up using this, but whatever. let's see if we can get a squish number. There's no rock. That's good. I like it when there's a rock. Okay, Jim. Talk soon. Jim, if there's anything that you need or that you want me to do to this, if you're interested in, a deal here, let me know and we'll work on it. Not a big deal. Go enjoy your garden, though. Right around 12. That's what we want. That's okay, Jim. Whatever. I'm gonna build this as I see fit. I love the two saws that you got. So, but I think that when this comes as good as it comes, I think it'll be. All right, I think we're back. Sorry about the buffering, everybody. Uh, it's late. I gotta call it a night. I'm really tired. I've been up since early, so it is definitely time for me to call it. But the way that this looks now, I've got an appropriate squish. The head's pretty ported. In my opinion, you're using known techniques. Your techniques discussed in forums are said to demonstrate a way to achieve accomplish the work consistently, showing how to do videos that allows us to interact. Yeah, Bob, for sure. And I'm having a heck of a good time, and I'm getting a kick out of hanging out with you guys, Charles, thanks for coming in. So, I want to continue this probably tomorrow when I'm a little bit more awake and all that stuff. Yeah. But if I have everything, which I might, maybe we get a pop tomorrow? That'd be cool, huh? Have a great night. Appreciate y'all. And stay safe, guys. Take care.